Hello, this is the experiment number 1, and we are going to talk about the specific gravity and absorption of coarse aggregate. So this is the name of our experiment. First, this experiment is based on ASTM. It is C127, specific gravity and absorption of coarse aggregate. This is the name and title, and this is the number of the experiment. Let's go to the purpose of this experiment: to determine the specific gravity and absorption of coarse aggregate. The specific gravity may be expressed as bulk specific gravity, so take care of this: bulk specific gravity. This is the first name, or maybe we can have it in other name, or we can have it in other bit different way. Bulk specific gravity, SSD, and SSD stands for saturated surface dry, or apparent specific gravity, or apparent specific gravity. So the purpose, as was said, to determine the specific gravity and absorption of coarse aggregate. The specific gravity itself may be expressed as 1. This is number 1. Let's put it in something here. So this is 1 specific. The way of expression is bulk specific gravity, or we can put it like bulk specific gravity, saturated surface dry, and number 3 we can put it as apparent specific gravity. Okay, let's go now to the second part, which is the significance of this experiment. Bulk specific gravity is generally used for calculation, or the calculation of the volume occupied by aggregate in various mixtures containing aggregates, including Portland, cement concrete, bituminous concrete, and other mixture that are proportioned or analyzed on an absolute volume basis. This is important. I call it the key words here are the volume, and another one is absolute volume basis. So take care that what is the significance and use of this experiment and these types of specific gravity. It is whenever that we want what? Volume. We want to calculate the volume occupied by the aggregate in different mixtures, so including like the cement concrete, for example, bituminous concrete, and other mixtures, okay, that is proportioned or analyzed based on the absolute volume basis. Bulk specific gravity, SSD, is used for the aggregate if the aggregate is wet. So if we are going to use the bulk specific gravity, we use it when the aggregate is wet. Absorption values are used to calculate the change in the weight of aggregate due to water absorbed in the pore spaces within the constituent particles compared with the dry conditions. So that's important. This is the key here. Absorption values are used to calculate. Why we are calculating the absorption values? So they are being calculated to calculate the change in the weight of the aggregate. Why the change? Why there is a change in the weight of the aggregate? Due to water absorbed in the pore spaces. As you we are going to see that we're going to soak, or we are going to put the aggregate in water. So we want to know what is the water absorbed by the particles. Okay, so we want to know this weight. This weight is going to be used to check or calculate the change in the weight of aggregate due to water absorbed in pore spaces within the constituent particles compared to the dry condition. Okay, so this is the second part. Let's go now to the apparatus parts, which is what equipment that we are going to use. Simply we are going to use balance, okay, with accuracy 0.05% of the sample weight, or 0.5 G, okay, whichever is greater. And number 2, it is wire basket, 3.35 millimeter, which is number 6, or finer mesh, as you can see in figure. This is here the, this is the wire basket. We're going to put the aggregate inside it, and we are going to soak it after that in a water container, so that to guarantee that water is being absorbed by the particles. So this is number 1, okay, we balance. Number 2, wire basket. Number 3, we're going to have a wire tank or water tank, as you can see here, water tank. And then the last one is a sieve, 75 millimeter, or we call it number 4 sieve, or other sizes are needed. So we're going to talk about this. This is the sieve size that we're going to use. Now let's go to the test specimen itself. How we can obtain the test specimen. So test specimen, thoroughly mix the aggregate sample and reduce it to the approximate quantity needed using an aggregate sample splitter or by quartering. So we have two methods here in order to get our sample. The first one is sample splitter, and the second one is going to be quartering. Whatever is available in our lab, we're going to use it. So here still we do not know what is the sample size that we are going to have, right? This is what we are going to see later on. First, after having this sieve in our hands, we're going to put the sample. So we're going to have the sieve like this, and then we're going to put the sample inside the sieve. Then we're going to shake it, as we're going to see in the video. We are going to reject all the materials, passing the 4.74 millimeter sieve by dry sieving and thoroughly washing to remove dust or other containing coatings from the surface. So we need only this is the part 2 of our experiment. So first of all, you are going to see that we're going to reject all the material passing through this 4.7 millimeter sieve by dry sieving and thoroughly washing to remove the dust or other coatings from the surface. And then the minimum weight of the test specimen to be used depends on the nominal maximum size as follows. So we are going to have a relation between maximum size of the aggregate, you need to check it, and the corresponding minimum mass of the sample that you're going to use. So as you can see here, if you have the minimum size to be 2.5 millimeter, so the maximum size of the aggregate, then you are going to have the sample to be like 2 kg. And then if it's 19 millimeter, the maximum size, then you're going to have 3. And if it's 25, then you're going to have 4. If it's 37.5, which is bulky, then you're going to have 5 kg of the sample. So now we covered the sample itself. Let's go now to the test procedure itself. We have like 5 steps. We need to stick to them in order to make this experiment. Firstly, we need to immerse the aggregate in water at room temperature for a period of 24 hours plus or minus 4 hours. So we take care, this is the period. Maybe in our experiment we're not going to do this exactly, but anyway, this is the standard one based on ASTM. The second step is remove the test specimen from water and roll it in a large absorbent cloth until all visible films of water are removed. Wipe the larger particles individually. As we said that we are like drying up the sample, so we need to, as we said, remove the test specimen from water and roll it in large absorbent cloth, and for the larger particles try to wipe them individually. And step 3, we are going to weigh the test sample in saturated surface dry condition, as we said, and record it as B. So we're going to give this the variable B. Record this weight and all subsequent weights to the nearest 0.5 g or 0.05% of the sample weight, whichever is greater. So here, step number 3, we're going to weigh the test sample in a saturated surface dry condition. Okay, saturated surface dry condition. After making step number 2, we reach to the saturated surface dry condition and record it as B. Number 4, place the specimen in the wire basket and determine its weight while it is submerged in water at a temperature of 23 plus or minus 1.7 Celsius and record it as C. So this is the sample with water. Okay, and then take care to remove all entrapped air before weighting it by shaking the container while it is immersed. This is something we're going to see in the video. We're going to shake the container while that it is immersed. And number 5, dry the test sample to a constant weight at temperature of 110 plus or minus 5 Celsius and weight it until record this weight as A. So we have like A, C, and B. Then the analysis results are going to be seen like this. The bulk specific gravity, it is going to be A over B minus C. Okay, B, which this is the saturated surface dry, minus C, which is as we recorded it, the submerged, or the specimen after being submerged in the basket, and then A after drying. And then where A, B, C is oven dry sample in air in grams, and B is the mass saturated surface dry sample in air, and this is mass saturated sample in water. Then the bulk specific gravity, SSD, saturated surface dry, is going to be B over B minus G, B minus C, and apparent specific gravity is A over A minus C, and absorption in percent is going to be B minus A over A. Then after having this, we are going to report. So we are going to report the bulk density, bulk specific gravity SSD, apparent specific gravity, and absorption. This is in summary what we are going to do in our experiment. Thank you.